From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
President Obama announced a controversial plan to release thousands of inmates. We are live in Washington with what this will mean for prisoners and their communities.
Valley residents were startled late last night by 3 earthquakes in Black Canyon City, nearly 40 miles north of Phoenix.
And businesses in northern Arizona are bracing for lackluster fall colors and hoping the weather won't affect their revenue.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Mitch Casada.
And I'm Lauren Michaels. Thanks for joining us. Thousands of federal drug offenders were released over the weekend. The Obama administration says this will curb overcrowding in an already overpopulated prison system. But some worry this measure will have unintended consequences. Cronkite News reporter Elizabeth Blackburn is live in Washington with details.
It's not just overcrowding. The release is the first step in criminal justice reform that both sides in Washington say is needed. President Obama says it's common sense.
And we want to make sure that the punishment fits the crime. And if we know, for example, that someone engaged in a nonviolent drug crime should be punished, but that their sentence should not probably be longer than a rapist or a murderer.
And the government started taking steps toward that this weekend with the release of over 6,000 federal inmates with nonviolent drug offenses. 42 were released to Arizona. Federal officials and prison advocates say not to stress.
It's wrong to characterize this as just a wholesale mass release of prisoners willy-nilly into the community. They will still be subject to conditions of supervision and mandatory participation in treatment and reporting to supervisors.
Pam, a former judge living in Tempe, welcomes the release, but worries inmates may not be prepared.
If they've been given job skills training, if they've been given reentry transition services, those will positively affect them and provide a greater chance of success. If not, it could be a wholesale disaster.
But Obama said now is the time for action.
People are asking hard questions about our criminal justice system and how can we make it both smart, effective, just, fair.
Besides incarceration, Obama said we also need to focus on rehabilitation and reentry programs. The United States Sentencing Commission said there are more than 40,000 current inmates that could be eligible for sentence reduction. Live in Washington, I'm Elizabeth Blackburn, Cronkite News.
President Obama was in New Jersey this morning to address concerns about releasing inmates and discuss his prisoner rehabilitation plan. The president's plan is aimed at rehabilitating and reintegrating former inmates to their communities. The actions include millions of dollars in education grants for those with criminal records. The president is also calling on Congress for the removal of questions and statements on criminal records in federal job applications.
The Federal Communication Commission is lowering the rates for in-state telephone calls for prisoners, but the Arizona Department of Corrections believes this could have a negative effect on Arizona prisons. According to the Arizona Capital Times, the FCC's recent decision to cap call rates will mean less money for prison education programs. The prison calls usually cost 24 cents per minute, but in Arizona, calls will cost 11 cents per minute. Before the change, calls were generating about $4 million per year for the department. Under state law, that money is allocated to schooling, law library supplies, and other resources.
Trick-or-treaters were a little safer this past weekend, thanks in part to an ongoing 2-month investigation. The effort by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office targeted every known sex offender convicted in Maricopa County who failed to register in Arizona or after relocation to another state. Maricopa County Attorney Bill Montgomery announced today that out of the 191 defendants with outstanding warrants for failing to register as a sex offender, 90 had been located, 26 had been rearrested, 2 were located in homeless shelter, 8 confirmed deceased, and some were believed to have left the country. Montgomery had a message for all sex offenders in Arizona who have yet to register and had not been arrested yet.
For those who we've yet to take into custody, we know who you are. It would behoove you and be safest for you to turn yourself in immediately to local law enforcement.
Montgomery says this is an ongoing effort, not just for Halloween, but for the entire year.
An Associated Press investigation into sexual misconduct by law enforcement officers in the U.S. identified about 1,000 officers in 6 years who lost their licenses for sex offenses or misconduct. But the investigation showed that policies for decertification vary from state to state. In Arizona, the Peace Officers Standards and Training Board decertified 352 officers, 27 for sex-related misconduct. Law enforcement agencies in Arizona must notify the board of any officer fired for cause.
U.S. Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake are denouncing the loss of another health option for Arizonans. After a State Department of Insurance review, the Meritus Mutual Health Partners Insurance Co-op has been removed from the federal marketplace. About 60,000 Arizonans held policies with Meritus. In a joint statement, Senators McCain and Flake wrote, quote, "Instead of thoughtful reform that would have increased competition, affordability, and access, President Obama continues to champion a failed government knows best approach that is now responsible for thousands of Arizonans being forced to find new coverage." Meanwhile, members of the U.S. Department of Health and Arizona PIRG Education Fund were at Phoenix College today to speak with students about applying for health care. The Cover Arizona Coalition is comprised of more than 900 community and statewide organizations who are working to educate Arizonans on the importance of health care. The application is open, but you need to sign up by December 15th for health care coverage to be valid for 2016. Health officials said they don't just want students to apply, they said all Arizonans need to apply, and financial aid is available for those who need it.
You can get free, confidential, unbiased help to get signed up and to select a plan that works for you, meets your health needs and your budget.
You can apply for health insurance by visiting healthcare.gov.
Were you woken up by the shaking last night? 3 separate earthquakes struck the valley, all centered near Black Canyon City, about 40 miles north of the valley. Reporter Kendall Bartley is live in Tempe with the details.
I'm here at the Earth Sciences building on the Tempe campus. Here, professors research earthquakes and what it takes to make the buildings earthquake resistant. Now, even though those earthquakes did happen dozens of miles away, people were woken up here because of all the rattling and the shaking. The earthquake began at a fault a few miles north of Black Canyon City at Agua Fria River. The first quake hit at 8:59 p.m. at a 3.2 magnitude. The second hit at 11:29 p.m. at a 4.1 magnitude. And the last hit at 11:49 p.m. at a 4.0 magnitude. Those living on the 19th floor of a Tempe apartment complex say they really felt the shaking.
I thought the building either got hit by something or something broke. Oh man, honestly, I didn't know what was going through my head at first, just that I was on the 19th floor and it was a long way down.
Many people were shaken up like Bucksbum, but this quake wasn't a surprise to Dr. Ed Garnero.
Earthquakes happen all the time in Arizona, but they are usually small and we don't feel them because they're in the less populated northern part of the state.
The proper safety measures to take during an earthquake is to duck and cover, but people in the valley seem to turn straight to social media. Twitter and Facebook were blowing up with the hashtag Arizona Earthquake 2K15 and We Will Rebuild. State Emergency Operations will hold a statewide exercise Wednesday to test the ability to respond to a 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Live in Tempe, I'm Kendall Bartley, Cronkite News.
Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport has won its first ever Vail grant. The airport will receive $1 million as part of a Federal Aviation Administration's voluntary airport low emission program. This grant will reduce emissions at the airport by funding the development of an electric charging infrastructure and eventually replace diesel-powered airline ground service equipment. As part of this grant, 28 electric charging stations will be installed around Terminal 4.
The only known wild jaguar in the United States, which lives just 30 miles outside Tucson, officially has a new name. Today, students at Valencia Middle School announced El Jefe as the winning name following a nationwide contest sponsored by the Center for Biological Diversity. The name is Spanish for the boss, a nod to the jaguar's place at the top of the food chain. El Jefe has been photographed by trail cameras more than 100 times in the Santa Rita Mountains near Tucson over the past 3 years. It's the first documented jaguar in the United States since the death of the famous jaguar Macho B in 2009. Cooler temperatures usually bring fall tourism dollars to businesses in northern cities like Sedona and Flagstaff.
Coming up on Cronkite News, residents worry that the lack of fall colors this year will significantly hurt the local economy.
At ASU, we believe the most important semester is the one that starts after you get your diploma, the one called life. So we work hard to help our alumni thrive, teaching them the importance of not only achieving their goals, but exceeding them. With innovative programs that embrace hands-on learning that encourages real-world growth. Our alumni know it can be the education of a lifetime, for a lifetime. For more information, asu.edu.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Are you a news junkie, history buff, science or nature lover? Then discover 8 World, an entire channel devoted to bringing the world home to Arizona. Watch 8 World on Cox 88 or over the air via antenna on 8.3. To find out how to tune into 8 World for your satellite or another cable provider, visit azpbs.org/world or call 602-496-2308. Discover your world. 8 World.
My child who's watching Super Y, and it said, what letter makes the sound "er"? And my 2-year-old is jumping up and down going, R, R, R. I love that. I wish I knew the genius that came up with Dinosaur Train. I mean, what little boy especially doesn't like dinosaurs and trains and to put them together in one show? My family does without a lot of stuff, but I would be horrified if we had to do without PBS.
Fall leaves can inspire hikers around Arizona to head north and witness the natural beauty. But this season, the leaves aren't changing color because of the weather. Cronkite News reporter Aaron Johnson traveled up north to find how the change may be affecting Arizona tourism. Aaron?
Even though there was a loss in fall colors this season, district rangers do not believe that it will impact their economy. Normally around this time of year, trees up in northern Arizona have changed to reds, oranges, and yellows. But rangers say due to the warmer, rainier, and windier weather this fall, the leaves haven't been able to change. The Sedona Chamber of Commerce said regardless of the leaf colors, Sedona continues to be busy, and hikers have come from out of state to enjoy the scenery.
Sedona is beautiful.
Dale Bush came from California to get away from the traffic and enjoy the nature that Arizona had to offer, but says she would have liked to see the changing fall leaves.
The holiday season, it's very, very special. It brings back memories of childhood, so that would kind of be missing, and there would be no difference or no sense of a physical change. It would certainly be beautiful to see.
The Arizona Office of Tourism collected data on how much money visitors spent in Coconino and Yavapai counties. Hiking trails fall under arts, entertainment, and recreational activities, which has increased in both counties over the last 8 years.
Here on Bell Rock Pathway outside of Oak Creek Canyon, you can see there's not a whole lot of variation in leaf color. And up in higher elevation on the way to Flagstaff, there doesn't appear to be much of a difference.
Rangers said they have received a few phone calls asking about the leaves in the area and have described to visitors what they believe is the reason the leaves aren't changing color.
We've had a really wet fall, we've had a lot of windy days, and what that does is it makes the colors turn, the leaves turn really fast, but then they fall off the trees really fast too.
But park rangers say there may still be a change in the next couple of weeks.
It all depends on the weather. If we get a nice cold snap, that'll make the leaves that are still there turn really quickly.
To find some of the best places for fall leaves and hiking in Arizona, visit the U.S. Department of Agriculture Forest Service page online. Live in downtown Phoenix, Aaron Johnson, Cronkite News.
The $25 million repair effort to reconstruct Highway 89 near Page is now an award-winning project. An industry publication called Engineering News Record Southwest selected the Arizona Department of Transportation along with its contractors for the 2015 Project of the Year in the Highway and Bridge category. You may remember a landslide 2 years ago closed Highway 89 and split the communities of Page and Bitter Springs. The 9-month-long project removed about 1 million cubic yards of earth and rock to realign a 1,500-foot section of roadway and create a rock buttress to help stabilize the area.
U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi was in Phoenix to talk about the new funding to our state's transportation project. Phoenix was recently awarded a $10.3 million federal grant to finish the Grand Canal Skate Project. It's an 8-mile stretch along the canal for pedestrians and bicyclists. And according to Pelosi, this will be a leading example.
It's important for us to brag about what you have done here so that everyone can see the significance of it as a national example of what can be done collaborating, working together for the quality of life of everyone.
For the canalscape, you can expect to see changes made right away with new murals and safer crossings at streets. Back in D.C., Pelosi is hoping a new highway bill will pass within the next few days.
ASU is celebrating active duty military and veterans with salute to service events.
Coming up on Cronkite News, see how students are getting involved and learning from veterans who are sharing their stories.
The easiest and best way to support Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Tap into the art scene from coast to coast. Join the Art Beat Nation, a weekly series where you'll experience a rich cultural tapestry of art stories from across America. Meet artists, writers, composers, and performers setting the pulse of the arts in America now. Join us for a brand new episode of Art Beat Nation.
Sunday at 5 on 8HD.
When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
In honor of Veterans Day, students at ASU are expressing their appreciation for fellow students who have served in the military. Cronkite News reporter Fan Wang attended the event.
Yes, I wrote letters. Thank you letters, a photo gallery, conversations with those who have served in the military.
It's a veteran appreciation event and also for the whole student body.
Maximilian Meza is a senior and a veteran himself at ASU. He was stationed in the U.S. Albuquerque as a submarine for 4 years. At this 2-day event, students got the opportunity to talk to veterans face-to-face and hear about their experiences. And they shared their appreciation in letters for those who've served.
How you guys doing? Would you like to make a thank you letter?
I think they're underrated. They sacrifice a lot and they do a lot for our country. So the least I can do is to write a letter saying thank you.
This is great. I think that really helps them. They get uplifted with that.
because then they feel like they've been appreciated, because I know that I appreciate them.
Students have written about 300 letters over 2 days, and these letters will be handed over to student veterans at ASU. The exchange is part of the Salute to Service events on campus.
The goal is to continue to grow and expand and really educate the community, the campus community, about service and what it means for veteran students.
The effort means a lot to this student veteran.
They could have just done an appreciation event, and then, but it probably would have been less people experiencing the event.
The hope is that this experience will have a lasting impact. In Phoenix, Fan Wong, Cronkite News.
The ASU Salute to Service events continues through mid-November.
We're learning more about the new portrait of Pat Tillman, donated to the downtown ASU Veterans Center. The portrait was created by a Marine named Michael Reagan, who gave up his studio and income to do free portraits of fallen servicemen and women soldiers. Reagan did similar Tillman portraits for his wife Marie and the Tillman Foundation. Last spring, Reagan won the Congressional Medal of Honor for his work, which he donates to the families of the fallen.
Dodgers prospect Ralston Cash is raising money to give back to families this holiday season.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how this pitcher is stepping up to the mound to help those who have lost a parent.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
The easiest and best way to support 8 Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Hi, I'm Judy Woodruff, co-anchor of the PBS NewsHour. Preparing the next generation of journalists has never been more important than it is now. With its groundbreaking partnership with Arizona PBS, the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU is revolutionizing journalism education to provide students with a real opportunity to work and learn under the supervision of veteran journalists, producers, directors, and editors on newscasts, investigative stories, and documentary productions. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, reinventing journalism education in the digital age.
The holiday season can be a difficult time for families who have lost a parent.
Los Angeles Dodgers pitching prospect Ralston Cash dealt with that experience and is doing something to help. Cronkite sports reporter Johnny Soto has the story behind the Ralston Cash Foundation.
Dodgers pitching prospect Ralston Cash stands out on the baseball field with his long hair and mustache curl. It's a look that Cash has used to give back to the community.
I actually was going to make a workout shirt, and when I made it, I posted it online, and it kind of took off. And when it took off, everybody wanted one. So that's when I said, you know, I might as well just sell these. And that's when I came from that, and I said, let's start a charity.
The Ralston Cash Foundation gives back to families during the holidays that have lost a parent. It's something that hits close to home for Cash. His mother died in a car accident when he was just 3. At age 20, he lost his father to cancer.
To be able to step in and use my teammates, use my fans, use the people around me who actually helped the most in this situation is beautiful. To be able to take that and then to add it in to take care of the kids, it shows the kids that they're still loved and people still do care.
At first glance, with the tattoos, long hair, and curled mustache, people might get the wrong impression of Ralston. However, amongst his coaches and teammates, that is certainly not the case.
He's a really good person in what he does, and I think everything that he strives for is to help people and to really make himself a better person.
Ralston's, he's a great guy. You know, he takes care of his friends and takes care of his family. And, you know, with him doing this foundation, you know, it just shows what kind of person he is and what he does off the field. You know, he takes care of people and looks out for them.
People can purchase Ralston's t-shirt through a link on the foundation's official Facebook page, which has over 10,000 likes and has sold a little over 400 shirts. The rapid growth of the foundation still shocks Cash.
To where it is now, to where it began, is so far apart, and to see it grow so fast is amazing because it shows we have support. It shows we have people that actually want to help out. You know, there's the hope and humanity we're all looking for.
In Glendale, I'm Johnny Soto for Cronkite News.
Originally, Ralston's goal was to raise money to help one family. He's already helped dozens of families.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS.
Here's what's next on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
Coming up after Cronkite News, it's Arizona Horizon. We'll discuss a new book that promises a roadmap to better health, and we'll hear about some homes in Scottsdale that are going green. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, it's Politics Monday, your guide for the week ahead on the campaign trail. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.